Okay, today we're going to talk about modding the taskbar, and we're going to talk about four areas. Basically, Cortana area over here, which we'll talk about a little bit later. We're going to talk about the program icon, where you attach program icons to your taskbar over here, so you can have access to them. The blank area here, and then finally over here on the right, the area of notifications and running processes and things like that. Okay, if you already have a program on your start menu, you just don't want to have to click over here to go ahead and get it. You can actually go to the start menu itself and say, oh, I want this on my start menu or my taskbar. So all you do is go to an icon and you right click, and under you see more here, you'll see pinned to taskbar. Now let me go ahead and take this off of this one here, but we'll do a couple more here. Oh, you would say remove from taskbar, but let's go do a couple more here. And you'll see it up here again under more. Now some programs have this and some don't. Depends upon if it's a system program sometimes. It all really depends upon how the program has been written and what it can and cannot do. But that's how you get them right from your start menu, and you can get them there so you have a single click on your taskbar to access your program. Obviously, you don't have all your programs on your start menu, but you can get it from other parts of your start menu. For example, you go up here to the most used. Obviously, if it's most used, you'll probably want to eventually put it on your taskbar. Just go ahead and pin it from there. Now, if it's not up here, you can go on down to the All Apps menu here and start adding it from there. Now, you may have to go around and find some, again, some have a link and some don't have a link to do it. One of the things you might see is a folder, and you have to go into the folder to go find the actual program that you wanted to have pinned to this taskbar. So you would do that. You click on that and would put the program there rather than any kind of folders or anything. Some like Cortana is already there. You're not going to get that kind of thing. So you're not going to have be able to do anything with those on the taskbar. But for the most part, a lot of the programs you have installed, you can just go ahead and add them from here. So there's one more way you can add, and that's with your desktop. Now I just installed Firefox here. I use it for testing. I have different browsers I test my software on. And you can just say pin to taskbar. Now what's important about that, let me move over here with my other browsers. Oh, by the way, you can remove that later on as well, and it'll still stay on the taskbar. Now I've added Skype. If you want to add a folder, you can. It's just a little tricky. You can't do it right from here. You can still do one more program. We can say, this is my video editing, I could add that as well. But as to folders, okay, we're going to go ahead and take this folder here, and we're going to say, oh, you know what? I want to pin that to my start menu. Now if I go over here and I go find where it was added, and here it comes, oh, there it is. I right click there and I go to more. Now I can pin it to the taskbar. Now what's really funny about this, I can now remove it from my start menu, and it remains on my taskbar, so I can just click on it to launch program. And it's good when you have desktop icons that are used a lot, that maybe you're busy with your desktop's covered with different applications running, and you don't want to have to hide everything. You can just simply go to your taskbar to launch it. Again, you can pin to start here and do folders that way, making it very easy to do all that. So now that we have it configured, let's talk a little bit what we can do with it. If you right click on the icons, you'll see a list here of where you've gone. Let's go to use Google Chrome. You'll see the places I've been to lately with Chrome and other functions as well. So it gives you a mini jump list that you can just go to. Matter of fact, it's called a jump list. You can jump right to that website that you wanted to go to if it was one on your recent list. And once you have your icon set up down here, you can also rearrange them. If you click and hold with your left mouse button, you can drag these icons around to get them in the order that you want to use them in. You can't go left of Cortana. It goes right to there only, but you can rearrange them in any order you want. Now, after you got them arranged, what good are they other than that? Well, you can also just hover over them to see if you have something running. So let's rearrange these. And let me go over to see what's running on each one of these icons. So if I just take my mouse and I hover over the icon itself, and let's use Notepad over here. And if I hover over that, you'll see even though it's minimized, this time, actually this time it's not, it's really on a different screen that you can't see, but it shows a representation of the program, of what's actually running. So I can sit there and say, oh, I want to jump to this. It gives me a preview. I can just click on that and it'll go and launch. Actually, it'll go there and make that your window. Here's an example here. This is my recording software. I say, oh, look, it's what's running. If I hover over that, and I can go ahead and click on that. Now I'm going to use that earlier feature I talked about jump list, to open up a second program. I'm going to use Notepad here because I use it a lot for a little bit of editing. Now I can select anything on the recent list. I can open up a new Notepad simply by right-clicking on it again and selecting one of these files. And I can find out exactly what which one. If I don't find it on here, for example, I'm looking up and down this list. I'm going, oh, what can I open? Where's that one I want? And I can't find it. Or I wanted to start a new one. I can click on Notepad down here and just open up a new window. So what I'll do here is I think I'll go ahead and click on Notepad here. You know what? Yeah, I'll click on Notepad here, and we'll go ahead and open up that. So now I have two programs open. I have editing on one and a brand new Notepad. And if I hover, you'll see that I gotta open up more, by the way. I could have 2, 3, or 4. But if I hover, I can go ahead and see that I have more than one program, and I can select each one. Not only can I select it to jump to it, but I can actually close a program from here. If I click on the close button here, and it closes it. It would warn me if I had unsaved mistakes, but as normal. But this way you can have multiple programs that you select, or multiple instances, and do everything you need to do in this little preview mode down here. The one thing I do want to show you is that as the items are added to your recent, and let's say they get bumped off by ones that are used later and they eventually disappear, we have this area up here called pinned, and you can take any one of your recents here and you can click on the little pinned icon and it'll move it up into that area over there. So let's do that, and there it is. You notice if it's up there, it even has the directory and all that where it's at, a little information about the file. But it's now permanently attached there, so it will always stay there on the jump list. Now you can go ahead and change all that. You can remove from that list, you can open it, you can do all sorts of things. But it allows you to have permanent jump lists that are very quickly accessible through the taskbar. Now I'm going to do a couple more here just to show you that you can have multiple pins, and you'll notice that as we do it, it doesn't really change the number or the size of this. It just subtracts from your recent and adds to your other one. So you basically have a jump list size that's pretty static. So if you fill up with a lot of things, then eventually you're not going to have your recent ones there. But that's okay. Now here's one here for programming on Visual Studio. So they can be pinned to a permanent one as well. Just showing you that any file that's related to a particular type of program can be pinned to the permanent list near the top. Now, just like that in IE. Okay, let's look at the right-hand side, right corner, and we're going to do look at those notifications by clicking on Settings and going up here and go to System, and then we're going to go to Notification and Actions. So once we go there, you'll see that besides the icons here that show what are on your quick actions, you'll see select which icons appear in the taskbar. If we click on that, it refreshes the screen, and you'll see the options here, and they're going to control what's down in the lower right-hand corner. For example, there's no NVIDIA down here. It's hidden away, as you can see right there. Now, if I go up here and I say, oh, I want to see it all the time, I click over here, and you'll notice now they're on the taskbar. Not a whole lot to do here, but in case you want something that's always visible on your taskbar, you can make that adjustment here. Now if we look over here, and we can right click anywhere on this area to bring up the menu. So if we right click here, and we'll see that there's toolbars. So we'll go here and we'll click on the address one first. And you'll notice when we click on it, it'll bring up an address bar. This is the same address bar that's in your Internet Explorer. Okay, if we click here, it's the same one as up here. Okay, and you can type in stuff just like you would if you without even opening Explorer up. You can modify this slightly by turning off the title where it doesn't say addressed anymore. You just right click anywhere and say turn off show title, and it just becomes that. And then if we click in this area again, right in this little black area here, we can turn it back on again, or we can close the toolbar here. And it gives you a warning whether or not you really want to close it or not. Now the same idea is after we close that, we come over here and right click and we say toolbars links. And this is actually the favorites links that you have in your favorites bar. So if I drag it open there, it comes up with the same links that are in my Internet Explorer here in my favorites bar. As a matter of fact, they're not just copies, they're identical. It actually goes to the directory where it's at to get those. And there's a couple other options here as well. Oh, by the way, if you click over here, you can get the rest of them there. Okay, so let's take a look. If we go over here to Internet Explorer, bring it back up again, and we'll watch those down there. And you see how it says electronics, cars, fashion, and all that? That's eBay, actually. So if I come down here to my links, and I see right here, I right click and I say I want to rename that to something shorter, and I just want to type in eBay. So I type in eBay, say OK, right? And I go over here to Internet Explorer again, and sure enough, it no longer says all that, it just says eBay. Now a couple of configuration things. If I want to, these aren't big enough for me to see, I can right click here and say view at the top. Let me go up here and say large icons and say boom, larger icons. No big deal, they're all the same icon, so I don't think that's necessary. But I can right click and put it back. And I'm going to go ahead down here again, and I'm going to pull this open so you can see more of the links that are available here. If I right click here, I can open the folder, and this is actually where your favorites are stored for both IE and this, and you can go ahead in there and make changes here as well, just like I did with the other thing. I can move things around and put them into different areas and do things with your links from here. So that being said, we can also do the same things I showed you before. We can turn off the title where it says links at the bottom. We can turn off the titles of the individual. It's a little hard to tell what they are, so you want to right click and maybe show text, and then right click again. We can turn off the title that says links. You get a little more room. Don't use this very often, but it's available in case you want it. So if you say close toolbar, I'll turn the title back on and say close toolbar, and we'll get rid of that toolbar. It'll warn you again just like before, and it's gone. So now we're going to put it back down to the regular size. We're going to talk about Cortana a little bit. We're going to go over here and change the way it appears. This is the normal with a search bar and the Cortana icon. If we right click here and go up to Cortana, and right up here, we can hide it completely or show the search box or show the icon. So we're going to just go ahead and right click there again and say show search box and turn that off. Oh, I must have missed it. Oh, it's an option, one or the other. So now it's an icon, okay? And that's it. It still functions. I don't have the audio in here, but I just spoke, and it still functions like it's there. So it's not a question of functionality, just appearance. As a matter of fact, you can hide it completely and still speak to it. You just can't click on it. So if you're using the click feature of Cortana, you'll want to turn this back on to whichever one you want, the whole box or just the icon. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is what's called, well, they call it multiple desktop now, it's task view. And basically you have multiple tasks. I only have one task running right now, but if I had like Word or Notepad or something, it would show all the different ones. And if I click on that, it shows you can jump to that task. It's not a big feature. Not a lot of people use it. If you don't want to use up the real estate here, on here you can right click on the desktop, or on the taskbar that is, to turn it on and off. So what we do is right click and do it anywhere, by the way. You can right click anywhere on the taskbar and go up here and say show task view button. We'll just click it to turn it off, and you'll see that down here this will disappear, and there we go. And you click on it again and bring it back. So it's really just your option of whether or not you want to have that. Okay, next is the show touch keyboard button. Now this is important if you're on a device without a keyboard. You're going to get a lot of times the keyboard will jump up automatically, but on some applications that don't have it, it won't jump up automatically. They're not built for that. So you may want to toggle that on to be permanently shown. I just turned it back off again. But that's how you get your permanent icon down there for your keyboard. Okay, hold on to your hats here. There's a lot of different things that are available in the more advanced items here. First I want to show you is Cascade Windows. You can right click anywhere on the taskbar. If you have your windows all covered up, your desktop covered up, you can change how they're displayed, stacked, cascaded, side by side. If it's completely covered, you can click on show the desktop, everything minimizes. You can undo side by side. It goes back to the last one it was set up as. So let's say you have your desktop covered up with an application like this that's completely covered. So you want to right click and just say show the desktop. You don't have to cascade. You can just hide everything that's showing, and it clears up. You can get to your icons on your desktop a lot easier. Just something to think about there. Earlier you saw me expand the height of this, but you can actually lock your taskbar so you don't accidentally mess with it. So we say lock all taskbars. I can't drag and resize this because it's locked down. And it says all because you could have it on multiple monitors. But let's go over here to properties now, and this is the old property you're used to seeing. It's got some new options, or some mostly old options. There's the same one called lock to taskbar. There's the auto hide the taskbar. You can't auto hide and lock at the same time because it jumps right back again. And also my video capture program is interfering with this a little bit, but there's different items you can do, like again, I'm going to try it one more time. You see it jumps right back again. But the point of it is that it'll go ahead and auto hide the taskbar. You can also say use small taskbar buttons. If you click on that and say apply, you'll see the icons at the bottom go down to these little small guys. You can have 1,000,000 of them down there. I don't know if you care. I happen to like the default size. Now what they do with those is you can also, let me apply that first. You can also say where they are, the taskbar is. Apply, it goes off to the left. You can go off to the right. You can go to the top. So anywhere you want. You can actually drag this to those different areas as well. You don't have to use this command here. You can click and hold it and move it. But I'm going to put it back to the bottom. Now next, this is a little more complicated here. Now you notice that when we had multiple programs running for like folders and things like that you only saw one folder. Well here, when you turn it off and say don't combine them, you'll see that each one has its name, and in the folder one it has two different listings, or 3 or whatever you have open. So we click on this and apply. It says combine only when the taskbar is full. Well, it's not full right now, so it's not combining. So you just play around with that until you find the setting. I find the one where it's all combined into one a lot better. You'll see another one appear down below for pictures. Okay, there's another one I opened up. So eventually it should shrink, combine together. But it's easier just to have it to where instead of running out of room, you just have it set to automatically combine at all times. So I'm going to go ahead and put that back by clicking here, saying combine, always combine, hide labels, boom. We're back to icons, the normal thing you see with all those windows showing up as you hover. Never combine means that it'll always be this way no matter what. Seems like a little much to me, but that's up to you. You can customize just about anything you want. The next option is notification area customize. We're just going to that'll just go back to that area we already talked about a little bit, notification and actions. Next thing we're going to talk about is a couple of things here is that show the taskbar on all displays. So it shows up on every single display that you have. I have multiple monitors running now, for example. It says show taskbar buttons on all taskbars. In other words, you can have a taskbar with not the buttons, or it could be only where the window is open at. So, for example, you have a window, a program running on a separate window, and only show that one, not the other ones. I find it easier to have them all on all windows. That way, you can jump to that program from whatever. Oops, I closed the window. We'll go back here and there's navigation, which you don't have to worry about that. But toolbars is the same thing we saw when we clicked over here and we right-clicked, and the toolbars are the ones we talked about here. So let's create a toolbar. Well, you can create a toolbar out of any directory you want. For example, I have one thing called movies here, okay? And if I click on one of these, this is master documents. Well, let's go back and yeah, I'll do one for documents. See how it's highlighted there and say select folder. It's created a link format, and if I pull it out, you'll see that it starts bringing out all my documents. Or if I click over here, it'll be what's ever in that. So you can have a quick toolbar to any directory on your system just by doing it. And you can modify it by those same ways, like hiding the title, or I just turned it completely off. So again, that's another thing that you can do to customize your toolbar. So if you have something you want to show all the time, make your own custom toolbar for it. Okay, before I get the date and time real quick, I'm going to go and show you these couple little other icons that are whatever you have running down here. Usually they have some other function. For example, you click on sound, you see your volume. You can right click on sound and you can play with your recording devices or your playback devices. Almost exactly the same as you did in Windows 7. It just simply displays it like that. The same with the recording devices. They're just the different tabs in this whole sound thing. And that goes for any other icon you have down here. You can do check on your networking by clicking there, and it'll go to the networking sharing center, those kind of things. Now this next part you normally wouldn't see unless you've loaded up. I did it on purpose. I loaded up a UK language version. You can have multiple languages. If you're in a country where you need to have multiple languages, you can switch between your keyboards right here. You can switch your languages. You can also add other languages by clicking over here for that. It's a rare case, but maybe you need to have multiple languages on your system. So let's talk about clocks and calendars. Well, first of all, as you can know, that we can scroll between dates like that, look it up and down, seeing what the date's like. It's not a calendar function. It is simply a display function of date and time. It doesn't do any kind of appointments. So we're looking over here and we're looking in the settings, and we can do a couple of things here. Okay, we can change your region. You know, it goes out to the control panel, same stuff you've seen in Windows 7 before, and you can also do multiple clocks. In my case, I have one set up for England, so I can see what time the YouTube videos are starting to show when we're in that area. You can put an extra one in, so I'm going to click on one here and find one for another area. I'm looking for Japan. And again, areas are, they give you one or two cities within the time area that you're looking for to help find. There's a lot listed here. But they're all a certain offset from Greenwich Mean Time or Universal Standard Time. And as soon as I find Tokyo, oh, there it is. Click there. I'm going to call this one Japan. Type that in. I'm going to click on apply here, or you can click on OK. Come over here now. You'll see I have two clocks. One says it's 10:06 p.m. in England and today, and it's 6:06 tomorrow morning in Japan. And so that's how you can adjust your clock display. One last thing, like I said, you can just click and drag your toolbar just by dragging it bigger on the top line here and dragging it smaller. And again, you can reposition it by just dragging and holding anywhere on the black area, and just hold it down and pull it between the top, bottom, wherever you want to have it displayed on your system. Most of us, of course, are used to it having it at the bottom. So there you have it, advanced toolbar or taskbar modification and display on your Windows 10 system. have fun playing with all the options.
Hey, and don't forget to subscribe to Old Guy Geek. Come on back for Windows 8 and Windows 10, and Windows Phone 8 and Windows 10, and general how-to videos, all here to help you make the most out of your system.